Happy New Year's and welcome to Adult Play Therapy. I'm your host, the original John 20.
Hey, it's Jerry P. And right now, man, we got somebody near and dear to my heart, man. My big brother, Chris, Christian Prater, man. He's here kicking it with us today. He's an educator, good big brother, man. Good father, good husband, and all of the above, man. So he's gonna be kicking with us today, sharing a couple of topics that we got going on. So yeah, man, you wanna introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, just like Jerry said, Christian Prater from Dallas, Texas. You know, I'm an educator, so I'm just here to, kick it with my boy 20 tonight, and Jerry kind of see what conversation leads us.
Right on. So we also want to say thank you to Hooters. Hooters has been sponsoring us for the past few months. We love the establishment.
Shout out.
We want to send a shout out to Hooters. We're going to continue to do our thing here. So if you're ever in Cedar Hill, Texas, you guys come check out this establishment. They got beautiful girls. You know what I'm saying? Everything is lovely here. So come through, enjoy yourself. Like I said, come buy some wings. Let us buy you some wings. Or come buy some wings. You know what I'm saying? Come sit on the show, watch us through the glass. You know what I'm saying? And enjoy yourself. But at this time, we got a Hooters girl sitting right now. Come on, you want to give us the camera?
Come on. Man. Come on over, man.
Can I get y'all to drink?
All right. Go ahead and get you what you want.
Let's get a ginger ale.
Ginger ale?
Yeah.
Take a water balloon.
All right. I'll take a ginger ale for now, too.
All right, perfect.
See how, look at that. You see what I'm saying? Look at that. That is wonderful. The service is wonderful here, guys. I'm trying to tell you, you need to come check out these beautiful ladies. They're here to serve you guys, and they are excellent. You guys what I'm saying? They're excellent.
Yep.
So, what's the topic, man? What we gonna get into?
Like I said, man, my big brother's an educator of the finest here. You know what I'm saying? So at Kip Elementary, man, he does this thing with the third graders, man, and we just want to bring a couple of topics up, some pressing topics that might concern educators nowadays, and one being the Firearm Act. So with them passing something like that, with people being able to carry, licensed to carry inside the school, how do you think that'll affect the children's safety, the staff safety, and even people on the outside safety who may be affected by,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think that's it's a layered topic. It's a topic where I think most teachers might feel like with, the weight that you have to carry to academic prep and classroom management that, now also being responsible for a firearm on premise is a lot more than, you actually signed up for.
Yeah. Especially with a higher number of the ratio of teachers being women. So a lot of women get queasy around guns, around weapons, and stuff like that.
I'm sure some women can handle themselves around a firearm,
definitely.
but I'm speaking of like the teacher to student ratio is gonna be like outstanding. Right. So if you ended up having a firearm and you're not responsible, if it's not locked up in a secure place, like you can look at more tragedy,
with a kid getting a hold of that gun,
right? Or maybe somebody not being comfortable firing that firearm, and maybe they react to a situation at in a negative way, and they end up maybe hurting themselves or hurting the child instead of actually neutralizing whatever the disturbance is. So I mean that's a lot to put on somebody who went to school for education. Went to school to train kids and to be a teacher, and then all of a sudden now I have to I could end up being judge, jury, and executioner, in a classroom. So that's a lot to actually have to take on.
Something I feel like that's very important that you mentioned that, because that's something that I thought about after a while. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, when I heard about that, I'm like, good. You get your lockbox that's finger pressured, put it in a drawer, so it's always there. The teacher knows that if something happens, you have your normal procedure. Like back in the day when I was growing up, the only procedure that we practiced was if there was a tornado or a hurricane, what do? You get down, you get up under your chair, and you duck for cover. You know what I'm saying? You take cover. But nowadays, it's more to it. Now we got to be concerned with if someone comes in and shooting, you know what I'm saying, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? Do you where your kids go? Where do I go? Like you say, I have to even be concerned with if I'm gonna get shot. You know what I'm saying? Or whatnot. Thank you. So it's like, it's a little bit more complicated now. So I totally get that.
So
I mean, the pay gonna go up because of this now?
Right.
Right, man. Yeah, that's good too.
Like I got fears in my heart.
Right, because the accountability goes up.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you bring up the like the different protocol, like what you guys learned and what we all learned in case of a tornado. But now you actually have like live shooter practice as well, same as you would have a fire drill.
Wow.
So, you kind of have a protocol in most schools now. There might be a key word or phrase that is spoken over a loudspeaker, or, maybe it's radio through a walkie-talkie in the room, and then, like, all the kids, just like a fire drill, like you exit the building, like the kids will position themselves in a quiet corner of the room, out of sight. And then, you'll lock the door. And that's a typical drill that you'll see in schools now, just like you see a fire drill, a tornado drill. So,
you know what I think I would like to see, though?
What's that?
Like, you put a hammer in the school or something else. Let's bust out one of these windows, so that they can sneak the kids out the window and around the back side of the school or something. Like, I mean, for real, because it's dangerous in these schools to have to get caught in a classroom. Like, that's crazy. Number one, I figured the first protocol would be, let's get them out of there. Like I said, with the tornado thing, I guess nowadays, not every classroom has windows anymore, I guess, because you got the inner classrooms too. But it's like, back in our day, we were so concerned with, stay away from the windows. And I guess that's why they started remodeling the schools, and they started building them differently. The fashions maybe they're higher, maybe smaller windows, and sleeker windows, or what have you. But it's like you being cornered like a mouse.
Yeah, I guess they do that because a lot of times you don't really know where the perpetrator is in the facility. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you don't want to run into the motherfucker. And he just let loose on, but.
And then. Not to cut you off, but then like the whole idea of an active shooter, that person is normally moving, because if somebody comes on, to any campus or into any public place with a firearm, they're intending to hurt people. Right. Yeah, so you want to try to keep everybody like out of harm's way. Right. You know what I mean? Because they're looking for unlocked doors and corners where they could actually do damage. Like that's the whole point of it. So the drill is more so to kind of lock out and just keep the people out of sight, and then you could get the security that may be on campus or the local police station to come through and try to take care of business. So no children and teachers get.
Do y'all have those locked doors? Like, do y'all have, like, back in the day we had little magnetic doors, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like emergency locks,
do y'all have those in your
on our campus? They do. I think that was an upgrade with the last school shooting that all locks went on doors, and you have different protocols and procedures, even for adults, even parents of children being allowed actually into the school. Yeah. Like, it's rare. Like, it'll have to be a parent-teacher conference. It'll have to be a community type event. But throughout the school day, if an adult doesn't, generally work for the school and they have to have a badge on as well, normally they're not allowed in the back. I know that's what we do, on our campus, and I have, friends who are educators at other places and other campuses, and it's the same.
Well, speaking on my school, where the kids go to school at, the one thing I do appreciate at our school is the fact that they have armed police officers at the school. They're in secondary and elementary. And I'm always telling them thank you whenever I see them. I'm actually going to take some gift cards to them when I get back for the New Year's, when we get back, just so they can buy some, cupcakes, some cookies, something to eat, or whatever. But,
whatever they eat.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's like, they're doing a service for our kids. And see, I appreciate that. Our campus is surrounded by a gate. Mm-hmm. So you have to be buzzed in with your car. And then when you get in there, you got the double door that you have to pass through in order to even get into the school with the kids. So I kind of like that aspect of it too. And I like you saying, the aspect that you got to cross one threshold in order to get to the next threshold, in order to get to the next one. Mm-hmm. So there should be plenty of eyes on that person when they first enter the school area.
Man.
So
I think that's the first line of defense. I'm not necessarily for the guns on campus and stuff like that, but because of all the other stuff that may happen, the other dangers that might put the children in. Right. However, I do feel like the outside force is what needs to neutralize anything.
Yes.
Whether it be the police officers, whether it be security. I'm a part of the the all pro dads in my son's school, and we're effective, but in order to get into the school and have those like walk around hall passes and stuff, we got to go through an extensive background thing, which is great. Mm-hmm. But in the event that there is an active shooter or something like that, I would like for the outside to be protected. Back in my day, it was like the metal detectors, the officers sitting right behind the metal detectors. So it was, if you really brought a gun into school, your ass was out of there before you took 2 steps into the campus. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was
the first line of defense has to be you want the outside first, you know what I'm saying? You want the double doors, the metal protectors and all that too. I just want the kids to feel like they're in a prison. I think that's what's scary.
That, and then also like you want to be able to look at the person who's teaching you, through the lens of they're the educator, not necessarily they're like the enforcer as well. It seems kind of funny as adults because we can actually we actually understand the dangers of the world, but to kids. 14, 15 years old and younger, like, man, that's frightening.
Yeah. It is, man.
That's frightening.
You see all the videos of those teachers and students getting into it, and the teacher might have a short fuse.
Right.
Might let loose on that kid one day. That motherfucker come in talking shit, want to suplex me because I'm little. Nah, you finna get this leg.
Yeah. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, man.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, so I don't want to lead it into, a person to make that judgment call.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. I feel like in life, we need to start looking into the mental health aspects. Number one, I feel like there needs to be more education when it comes to certain job positions. Okay, as a teacher goes through an educational, phase in order to become a teacher. So I have all respect for that. Mm-hmm. But there also has to be a psychological setup for these teachers too. But not just that. I also have to make sure that these kids, they're getting the right and the proper discipline too, because at the end of the day, like you say, the gun is set there not for a kid if a kid swings on you, but it's set there more so if you have an adult who wants to come in or a kid who wants to come in and they've been bullied or whatever, and they want to take advantage of the situation, they want to shoot and kill some kids. I would hate for one of the kids to have to be killed, who comes in as an active shooter, but if it's going to protect these little ones, like the last shooting that we had in Texas, man, I'm talking, when I say hardening, bro,
fuck that kid, man.
That's how I feel. I know. Yeah. I just don't want to say that, but that's how I feel. You're right.
Man,
like,
as a parent, to see that last, mass shooting, and you see the parents trying to fight to get in, and the police officers actually taking them down,
and they took like 2 hours just
inside
to do something.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Fuck that kid, kill him.
Right.
Fuck that adult, kill him. Nah, I don't like none of that shit, man.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Anybody that got the balls to do some stuff like that, you want to die.
Yeah.
I think the big thing is too is whenever you're talking about teachers and having guns versus like cops or security, like you want the professionals in that situation to be the ones that have the guns.
You don't want the janitor to have
you don't want like if you have everybody has a job and everybody plays a role in our society. Like if I go to the hospital and I'm sick, like I don't want the janitor who also kind of does his thing with the medical devices on the side working on me. No, give me the professional doctor. Yeah. Give me the person with the school and the accolades. And it's the same. Like, if I want somebody to protect my kid, I'm sure that Mrs. Johnson or Mr. Thomas is a great guy, but go give me the cops to protect my baby. Please give me the cops to protect my son or daughter.
That's
in that situation.
So on the gun thing, man, I'm thumbs down. I ain't with that.
Hold on, being just keeping it real. Being a dude who's been out there in the streets and hung out and everything. The one thing I have learned, okay. A lot of people don't want to have the gun until you need it. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So it's like when it comes to
it's not fun, so the rabbit get the gun.
Exactly.
It's not fun.
So when it comes to you, Chris, I will say this because you're here on the panel. I get to talk about you. I get to bully you. Knowing you, and I've known you for several years.
Right.
I have faith and trust in you. In my mind, if my kid is in your class and is an active shooter, yes, I want you to have the gun because in my mind, I'm saying to myself, Chris is going to protect my kid. That's my opinion. So when it comes to the gun thing, I know you say you're not for it. I'm shaky on it because, like you said, it's not fun until the rabbit got the gun. You don't know until it happens, and when it happens, if a teacher's able to take down an active shooter without any other injuries or somebody else, then we're all going to be applauding and say, damn, that was a good pass. That teacher, we commend that teacher.
Right.
So we won't know until the situation presents itself, is all I'm saying.
So it's like one of those things like I'd rather have it than not need it than need it.
That's it, than need it and not have it. And I'm just saying, with me knowing you, if my kid is in your classroom, that's the only thing I can think of. And then I'm bullying, I'm picking on you because you're as an educator.
You're the educator.
Yeah. Hell. If someone starts shooting the hallway and they get close to your classroom and you've gone through the protocols, your children are behind their desks, behind their tables in the corner, and they're barricaded. You're behind your desk in a safe angle, and that dude or that woman comes to that door and you're able to fire off too and either force them away from your classroom or even hit them and neutralize them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
how
No,
would
I agree with that in a perfect
Right.
scenario.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
And I just want to throw that out there because I understand we do have opinions. This is adult play therapy. We give opinions,
man.
real opinions.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this so that my audience and our viewers can understand that we're looking at it in all different angles.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that you feel that strongly about me, bro. That you want your kids to be, in the room with me.
I mean,
but the question that I would have to ask myself, and I'm sure the education, do I want that additional responsibility?
Do you want a gun?
Do I want the additional responsibility to be, responsible for another, 20 or 25 other people in the classroom? Like my mind, I want us all to go home safe, but I feel like there are a bunch of other steps that schools could put in place and districts and counties could put in place to keep a teacher from having to feel like they need to carry a gun to come to work.
Right.
Like I feel like there's like so many other things that we could do and could be better at doing those things than we have to worry about a teacher who's there for a particular job to then be carrying a gun. I just feel like a lot of other stuff could be done before that.
I totally agree. I mean, I do. But I'm just talking hypothetically, right?
But no, I appreciate it.
Because at the end of the day, this is your life on the line too.
Right. Right.
Would you not want to say, damn, I should have listened and had that damn gun?
I should have listened to
the way I think, and the way I think about it, if you really wanted to be that prepared, go get it on your own merit before the school district even asks you to do that.
Right.
Go get your CHL. It don't hurt to do that.
I know. And a lot of people do. But see, that's the thing. A lot of people have it. This is just giving the opportunity to be able to have it within the school. So you'll be surprised with how many teachers already have their CHL, how many teachers have already gone to the gun range and who already got hours of practice because they're protecting their home.
Right, exactly.
We're just saying adding it into the school.
Man, so even I would just say the psychological issues. So even to pivot a little bit on another conversation for an educator, is there a disconnect between, I guess, the communication with the student and the communication with the parent, and how that works, like the ins and outs of how that works? You have some parents that kind of
I mean, I don't really understand your question. Kind of key.
Yeah, okay, so you get on a student.
Okay.
And you have a parent come up there and just like, why are you treating my baby like this?
Okay.
Or do you have some students that's like, okay. How many students do you have that actually absorb the, discipline, take it in stride and actually change?
I mean, every kid, I won't put a percentage on it, but like it's basically constructive criticism. You know what I mean? But you got to understand that when you're dealing with students and you're dealing with children, that like the seeds that I'm planting right now, like I won't see them flourish because they'll be in the 11th, 12th grade. So you try to lay down a solid foundation of teaching kids stuff that maybe they get at home. Some of them don't get at home, and if they do get at home, you're just reinforcing what the villagers are already putting in them. But you do get the pushback from parents sometimes who maybe it might be their only child, or their child might have a history of being a behavior issue or whatever, and they don't want the child to necessarily feel like they're problematic. But the biggest thing is just communication. You know what I mean? Like in terms with parent to teacher, is just having an open line of communication, whether that's virtual, whether that's texting. Like you got to have a line of communication, because teachers always do need to be in contact. Because even an A student, those parents need to hear that kid is crushing it in class. Because that kid needs to hear the positive things. And at the same time, that kid who may be struggling academically or struggling behaviorally, when they do get a win in class, or when they do ace a test or something, as quick as we are to pick up their phone to tell them that they're talking in class or fighting in the hallway, we need to be communicating that too.
Yeah, encouraging them, let them know.
You said they're pretty susceptible to the,
Yeah, they're pretty susceptible to, I'm gonna call it coaching or redirection. They're susceptible to it. Okay. But some of them really don't necessarily understand, because they're not the finished product.
Well, that's true too. And I know when we were in school, we got not only that discipline at home, but also our teachers were disciplinarians.
Yeah, and it's different now.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at.
That's different now.
What is the culture like now in those schools, in those elementary schools? I mean, shout out Miss Black, Miss Pruitt, Miss Allen, Miss Gardner.
Yeah, shout out to all the old
shout
school
out
teachers.
to all of them.
from the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Who were none of mine. I was so ready to get about their class.
All of them, but the culture was different. So how is it?
I mean, the culture was different in schools, but society was different also. Like corporal punishment was a thing in most schools across our country, and even whoopings at home was a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like for most people, coming up when we grew up, Man, if you got in trouble at school, you would beg the teacher not to call home, because if they called home, like mom and dad gonna touch you up. You probably got touched up at school already because your parents are gonna tell them to touch you up.
Right.
But see, now, like, parents can barely even touch their own kids up. They can barely whoop their own kids.
Do you ever see an instance where corporal punishment comes back?
Nah,
Would
never.
You wouldn't want that?
Nah, corporal punishment never coming back. It ain't never coming back. Because you got
Prater got the paddle in the room.
But no, you got parents scared to whoop their own kids, because if they, if you whoop your kid with a belt, or you hit them with a hanger or something like that, racetrack, little wheels, track or whatever, you get hit with one of them and you get a couple welts on you.
Yeah, I told y'all
if they call
beat this kid.
Hey man, if they call the police, hey, you going down.
Well, not even that. If they come to school, I noticed. So I wanted to talk about the social workers, because I know social workers play a big role in that too.
Mm-hmm.
See, at the end of the day, I'm an advocate for whipping ass, and I've told you guys that. And I whip my kids' asses. I don't give a damn. The cops come knocking my door whenever you want.
Right.
But one thing about my children will be model citizens, and they will not be the ones carrying no guns up in the school shooting your child. So at the end of the day, I feel like you guys fight against the positive. You know what I'm saying? Instead of pushing against the negative, we fight against we've changed the narrative.
Yeah, we have.
So when it comes to the corporate we've changed the narrative. So it's like, why else would we not have disasters?
But man, the big thing about that is the kids are gonna learn that discipline from the house, or they're gonna learn it from the world.
That's true.
I would rather my kid had their first disappointment, that first ass whooping at home, so I can help them deal with it, cope through it, talk them through it. If your kid's first time getting disappointment or getting redirected is by the police, that's a problem. Or when they get to school, that's a problem. You got to be setting that standard, that expectation at home, because they gonna learn it.
That's right.
They gonna learn to respect, the elders, or the people that are in authoritative positions. They're gonna learn it. I would rather them learn it from me than them to learn it from somebody who don't love them and not gonna coach them through it. So that's the big thing.
That's very true.
I'm with that. Well, hey. So you heard it here. I think that's good enough to end the segment.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
We all whooping ass.
Yeah, we all whooping ass.
Hey man.
Hold on, we all whooping ass except for Jerry. Jerry already told us on the show he is not whooping ass.
I'm a hybrid when it comes to whooping ass. I like to talk, and it's a nice little balance.
Yeah, you can do them at the same time. You can do them at the same time.
I talk to you.
You can do them at the same time.
I talk some more, give a hug and a kiss.
Not just all that. It's not asshole elbows.
Right.
No. You definitely got to, it's definitely restorative conversation that come along with that ass whoop.
No, of course. Definitely. Yeah. That's, like I said before, that's something that we didn't have in my generation. It was just all 0 to 60.
That's true.
0 to 60. There wasn't no explaining shit.
That's true.
So let me take the time to give you a little dialogue.
Of course.
And if you continue, Chris said I'll try to redirect it.
Yeah, I'm trying to redirect it.
We got good kids though, so everybody here got good kids. So however it goes, it's working.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I think that's what matters. Like you were saying, your presence is the present. And a lot of times, that's all kids need in order to stay in line.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying?
And like Chris said, man, you know your kid. Yeah. So if you know your kid is one of them, you might want to get your hands on them before somebody else does.
Yeah,
right. That's true.
Yeah. But like I say, hey, that is the show. You know what I'm saying? You know who I am. I'm your boy, Big 20. You know what I'm saying? The original guy.
It's Jerry P, man.
Yeah, we saying thanks to our boy here, Chris Prater, for coming in.
Appreciate y'all having me. Appreciate y'all having me.
Man, listen, whatever you guys do for the year of 2023, I'm going to tell you like this. Do it with love, do it with kindness, you know what I'm saying? Be successful, work hard, you know what I'm saying? So that's just from 20.
And get in that fucking gym and work out and drink some water. And because we on that now, man. I got to get my shit together. So 28, but this time next year, I'm going to be a little different, man. I'm going to be looking a little different. Be looking like these guys, man. So work out, drink water, and stay in there.
You want to tell them anything for 2023?
Man, I mean 2023, I would say just, more love, more grace, more money, more growth in 2023. I wouldn't necessarily put a resolution on it because people get down when they don't hit their resolution, but just more love, more of the positives.
Yeah. But hey, we appreciate you guys. Keep watching us, and we'll see you later on this year. All right? Peace.